Mayhar Tousi, who has been such a force in broadcasting, which has been just amazing. He's a British Iranian political commentator, YouTube personality, founder of the independent news platform TousiTV, born in Tehran, raised in London. He came to the UK as refugee, him and his family. He's got over 1 million subscribers, talks about global politics, cultural issues, and he's campaigning for freedom of speech, democracy, and Western values in Iran. Who's out there in London dealing with a giant protest.
There's a crowd there. There's a bit of a problem here. The police, the Metropolitan Police, have not made things easy. They blocked the road, but now we have the second group of protesters who've now joined. I'm going to show you. Huge arguments between the organizers and the police here. You can see this barrier. There's a barrier, and the Metropolitan Police are not allowing the crowd. This is the second group of protesters who have now joined. The police are not allowing them to join the protest for no reason. All right, I'm going to go up. Ladies and gentlemen, some of you know her, some don't. Arnika was only 15 years old. She dreamt of freedom. She loved London. She didn't get any of that. She got killed by the Islamic occupation. Many people like her. But the message to Iranians inside and outside Iran: don't worry. The regime in Iran is falling anyway. Iran will be free. And one day, people from the United Kingdom will be seeking asylum in Iran to be free.
Mayhar Tousi, you didn't hear it, but I gave you a beautiful introduction. You're doing great and amazing work, really broadcasting to people about what's happening in Iran and general Middle East news. You were just at a protest right now in London. There's a protest in Los Angeles. There's a protest in San Francisco. The Iranian pro-real Iranian community is trying to get out the message of what the hell's happening in the streets of Iran, that the people are begging for freedom. People are being murdered in the streets, and there's just not enough anger. There's not enough passion. Say the word Palestine, everybody comes out. Say the word Iranian people. How many people, have been killed there? 20, 30, 40, 50,000 in the streets in the most awful way. We don't know anything about it. You've been on the cutting edge of letting people know about it. Tell us what you're seeing at this protest. What are people feeling? Are the people of the world hearing your message?
Well, thank you so much for having me. Apologies for technical issues. It's actually what you said is absolutely spot on. And I'll give you an example of why we are in a big problematic world. Because yesterday in London, we had the members of the IRGC and members of Hezbollah coming out with their flags. And they were allowed to do whatever they want to do. They had their march, open march. The police helped them. It was great for them. Today, in the same area in Westminster, outside Parliament, the Iranians, with the help of the Jewish community and the British patriots, decided to do the same thing. But the police made it extremely difficult. They blocked them, they put them in a pen, they put barriers, and then when the second group of protesters tried to join them, the police didn't let them. So we live in. I did make a speech earlier at the protest, and I did say that we are currently out in London, which is the home of the IRGC, at a time when even Canada and the European Union have designated the IRGC as a terrorist organization. We have the British state, with the help of Sadiq Khan as the mayor of London, helping the IRGC have fun, and they could do whatever they want to do. The Palestinian supporters, they can do whatever they want to do. But if the Jews or the Iranians want to have a peaceful protest, we're not allowed. That's the problem.
Well, let me get this straight. Your family runs away from Iran to go to a place of freedom in the UK, right, with Western values, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. And now these bad guys are taking over London and making their home there and shutting you down. You're going to have to keep running away until you come to Israel. What's going to happen?
So people think, people say that I'm radical. Sometimes I'm controversial. But if you think I'm radical, you should meet my mother, because my mom, who escaped Iran, fled Iran to come to Britain. If you had her on the channel right now, your channel would get cancelled, because she's absolutely furious. She keeps saying that just like what you said, Maya, I literally escaped that country to come to the West, and now they're following me here, and the government in Britain is basically helping them. I've had my issues personally. They tried to kidnap me from outside my flat in central London a couple of years ago. The Metropolitan Police said, we don't have enough resources to keep you safe. So it's up to you, basically. And I've had many other issues. Obviously, my address was leaked and I got doxxed, basically. And somehow the British government can't really protect you. But I did say in the speech that, don't worry, guys, the Islamic Republic is falling. Whether the United States does intervention or not, it will fall anyway. And one day soon, people from the United Kingdom will be seeking asylum in Israel and Iran. So that's the reality.
You know, I want to get just a last question on this issue of the West, and then we'll get to actual Iran issues. There's an Israeli intellectual, his name is Moshe Feiglin, and he wrote this book, and I read a passage from it that blew my mind. He said that the Nazis could have never done the final solution. We're not going to go towards the final solution until they realized that the West was going to stay quiet, was going to stay complicit without actually doing anything to stop the carnage. And he likens it to a hammer and an anvil. He says, you know, the Nazis were ready to be the hammer against the Jews, but they only did it when they realized that the West was going to be the anvil. We saw that on October 9th. 2 days after October 7th, there was a huge protest in Sydney with jihadis saying, we're willing to, you know, we want to kill the Jews. And the Australian government's just sitting there and it's not doing anything. So they're the anvil. They're ready to accept it, but they'll let the jihad do the dirty work. It's the same in your situation. It's the same. It's not just the anti-Semitism. I see now it's the same in your situation. They're going to let the jihadis do the bad stuff, but the British, they're going to calmly block you and let the other guys run amok out there. They're not the white Brits are not going to do anti-Iranian stuff, but they'll let the jihadis take care of business. They'll give it the platform that it wants.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had the same situation both when it comes to the pro-Israelis and the pro-Iranians in London, for example, where about a couple of years ago, after October 7th, if you're a Jew walking in London, the police will come to you and say, they said you are visibly Jewish and your presence is provoking the other side. So if you, for example, fly the Israeli flag or the Iranian flag, you will be provoking the enemy. So because we, the British police, want to maintain peace, we're going to have to arrest you in case the other side get violence. I'm like, why not just enforce the law? If the other side get violence, arrest them. Why do you have to do pre-policing before anything's actually even happened? So yeah, that's the problem with the West, as you say.
Well, it's scary because then you just don't feel like there's anybody with a moral backbone to protect you out there. Mayhar Tousi, how many people were murdered in the streets in this protest round in Iran and Tehran and the other cities?
Well, Fred, we're never going to know the real number unless the regime falls soon, and then there will be a proper investigation. But the numbers from inside the government themselves have now increased to 85,000. But they are saying that they're still investigating 85,000. So at least they've admitted that 85,000 have mysteriously been killed or died. But they haven't actually said 85,000 are definitely murdered, but they're saying, yeah, they've suddenly died during this period. So we are investigating this. So if that's the number coming from them, obviously they're officially saying, oh, it's about a couple of thousand, few thousand. Then I'm afraid this could be well above 100,000. The evidence that we've seen from the videos in each area, each hospital, local hospital, where you have thousands or like hundreds of bodies on top of each other. They're definitely not to undermine what happened in the 1940s, obviously, and the Holocaust. But when it comes to any sort of modern internal conflict or any sort of repression, this is insane. The numbers are insane. Wow. And we've never had anything like this. Again, when it comes to the proportion, since the actual Holocaust itself, we haven't seen anything in a short space of time. One-sided war, one side obviously armed, the other side unarmed, and they're just systemically killing people just because they are Iranian.
Is Donald Trump or the Israeli Mossad partially at fault for telling the protesters, we're backing you? There was that message from the Mossad saying, you know, we're out there in the streets with you. There was a message from Trump saying, you know, we're going to back you. We're not going to let this happen to you. Like, is there any inadvertent culpability? Did people, you know, rely on President Trump or on Israel to protect them and went out into the streets? Is that an exaggeration?
No, so there are two points to what the Israelis and the Americans said. So a lot of people are obviously rightly so emotional right now. They are angry, they are impatient, but also it's the liberal media in the West that are making it worse by basically saying, "Hey, Trump and Israel promised you, no, not promised. Israel and America told you to come out, and it's their fault." I can assure you, people in Iran were already out. They were already going to come out, whether Prime Minister Netanyahu or President Trump had told them to do it. They were already out. So the liberal media are treating people in Iran like idiots. Oh, they only came out because Trump told them. That bit is not true. But the other part, when it comes to promise, yes, I mean, I always say that President Trump, don't take him seriously, but there are times when, and I try to translate what Trump says or does. There are times that you look at it and I'm like, okay, well, I get it. If in the moment you say something, fair enough, but we'll judge you based on your action. Sometimes he says something, but he does the opposite. But this time round, when he said, basically we are there, the help is being sent, for example, is on its way. He does have to deliver. At this point, I'm going to bring down my expectation. Anything, just to basically keep himself protected. Just anything. Just go send one person to Iran, slap and random Ayatollah. That counts. Just anything at this point. So I'm not really blaming the Israelis or the Americans for bringing people up. People were already out. You can't tell people in Iran what to do. But in terms of what President Trump specifically said, and obviously the Netanyahu's government as well, saying that we are with you. We are with you is fine. It's just rhetoric. But sending help is on its way. A lot of people are impatient, but it doesn't mean help is not coming, but help could stop. So it's still on its way. I get it, but policy could change. I hope it doesn't change. I hope President Trump is still doing what he does usually. Yeah, we are talking and then bam. But I don't know what he's thinking right now. So.
Do you think that he wants a deal, or do you think that he wants to get rid of this regime? Like what do you think? Like we had General Amir and Vivi on beforehand. He's like, no, we're going for regime change. This is it. But he's coming from an Israeli perspective. There are voices in the Middle East, if it's the Turks or the Qataris or the Saudis, they don't want to see an American strike. They don't want to see destabilization. They don't want to see oil prices dropping. Maybe there are, members of the American military industrial complex who, want to see, big arms being sold to Saudi Arabia, and they don't want to see peace. I don't think arms makers, pray for peace when they go to sleep at night. That's not good for business. But what do you think that Trump wants? Do you think that he wants to see regime change, or do you think he wants a deal?
Yeah, I mean, of all politicians and political leaders, when it comes to whether he wants a deal or actual regime change, I can assure you that I know his team quite well. He definitely does not like the regime. He definitely would like regime change. So he doesn't want to have a deal for the sake of a deal. But the only issue, the tricky part with President Trump is that he doesn't like to lose, and he wants to back things that he knows is going to be him being a winner. So he wants to ensure that if there is going to be regime change, firstly, he can't take full responsibility while it's happening. But he would like to jump on a bandwagon when it's done,
right,
saying, yes, I backed it from day one. So he wants to make sure that the regime is definitely weak enough and the opposition is strong enough for the regime change to happen anyway, whether, with the help of a couple of strikes or whatever. So I think we are in that moment where he's probably assessing the situation in the last few weeks, saying, wait, because, it's a bit of a gamble if he comes out and says, yeah, we're going to attempt regime change. And if he fails, then he doesn't like that. And that's the problem.
Okay. Now, you said there that there's if there's an alternative regime ready to take over. One of the critiques out there in regime change discussion land is people say, well, the Iranians are not really well organized with an alternative plan. They don't have exactly a republic or whatever, a constitution or the guy. And some people point to Reza Pahlavi. And
yeah,
what do you think? What's the alternative to this regime that has been in power since '79?
I'm guessing that's Jerusalem Post talking, as usual. So, no, I would have said that same thing about 5 years ago, 10 years ago. That it's changed. The unity that we are seeing from inside and outside. In fact, actually, the Iranian diaspora outside of Iran, the best case that they could check to see if Iranians are united or not, to actually look at them, usually, even though they're not in Iran. For about 40 years, they were so divided. and you had different teams, and like some people were saying, "Yeah, I just want freedom," but what do you want? I don't know. But now they're all united. They're all saying Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi. People in Iran, that's even more impressive. They're all saying Reza Pahlavi, which has been working for the past 7, 8 years, slowly, especially since 2019, 2020. So the plan is already there. The consensus is there that they want a transition government led by the Crown Prince, and then have a referendum anyway. And to be fair, when you have a referendum, the plan that they have is obviously to either have republic or constitutional monarchy, parliamentary democracy, whatever.
Do you like him? Do you like him yourself? Do you feel like he's the guy that he can pull it off?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely ready. He's definitely. The thing is, people like him, they don't have a choice. They're born into public duty. You're the crown prince. You don't have a choice. And it wasn't really his fault.
We see with the British crown, there's always some people there that can just exit out. This guy's not exiting out. He's opting in.
No, yeah. I mean, he was exited, but not by choice, and he could have just stayed quiet. But he decided not to, especially the last few years. When he started hearing his name being chanted in Iran, slowly, the last 5, 6 years, he realized that, so maybe that exit that was forced on me, I might have to make a U-turn on that. And it's, again, we can judge. There are people, again, Jerusalem Post and many others, judge characters and leaders based on, like, subjective opinion. They look at his face. They look at the way he talks, like, maybe I don't like him. Maybe I think he's not strong. It's none of your business. Judge leaders based on the support they are getting on the ground.
That's right.
So somehow the performance, it's like President Trump's campaign in 2024, the presidential election. You can say whatever you want about President Trump. A big chunk of Americans liked him. They voted for him. Good luck. People in Iran, whether you like it or not, the consensus is they're behind him. So they are seeing something.
Like it? Why would I not like it?
Exactly. They are seeing something.
If you like it and you think it's good for your people, then good, great. You know what I mean?
There we go.
We like him better than Khamenei, who's murdering people in the streets and wants to have global domination and has some kind of jihadist fantasy for global destruction. You know, his Mahdi is not my Mashiach. Let's put it that way.
No, exactly. And I'm not getting paid or anything. It's the same with my support for Israel. Same with the Crown Prince. I'm not getting paid, or I'm doing what is right, the fight for freedom and life. And I don't really ask for much. All I want is a statue with a big head and a knighthood, and probably let me run the state TV. That would be great. Thank you.
Well, you're doing a great job through TousiTV for sure. And really millions of people are watching you. And my producer turned me on to your broadcast, and I love it.
Thank you.
You were right now at a kind of broadcast. You were at a rally. Just give me a sense about the rally. Give me a sense about the passion out there in the streets. What is there? Heat? Is there energy? Is the Iranian expat community in Los Angeles, Tehrangeles, in San Francisco and London, are they pushing hard? You know.
They could do even more, but the fire is back. Last weekend, when you had all these international protests, I could see sadness and depression, and people were down. This weekend, the fire is back. I don't know what's going on, but everybody's fired up. Everybody's angry, but rightly. So I did make a speech, and I said, focus on your anger on the right thing. You can mourn, you can be sad, you can cry after the war.
Right.
But again, learn from the Jews.
It's easy to mourn. Yeah, well, it's easy to mourn. It's easy to be sad when 100,000 of your own people are murdered in the streets for fighting for basic rights. You could really get upset about that. You know that you probably, you probably know somebody. You know, I want to tell you that I know this is a kind of silly story, but it's just a personal story for me. I've told the story before. I was in Florida buying some suits at a department store, and this lady was like really helpful to me. And she was like really like being very nice to me, an older lady. And I just said to her, like, where are you? What's your deal? And she's like, I'm Iranian. I'm a Persian person. I'm not Jewish. She told me. I said to her, are you Jewish? She's like, no. And she says, but I know that she recognized, me somehow. And she said, I know that you're going to fight for a strong Israel and also for the freedom of our people. And then she says, you don't know what they do to our people. They take our beautiful boys down into dungeons and they poke out their eyes. She said that, I don't know why, it triggered something in me. It was so visceral, and her interest in helping me was so strong, and I felt the fight. I felt the fight. And I know that Israel has been fighting against the Iranian regime for its interests, but also in another way, which is something that I've been calling Liberation Nation. I think that Israel has got a strength and it's got an obligation to fight against evil in our region and to liberate the people of Iran from this evil that we just saw how ugly that evil showed itself.
No, I agree, and I think people in Iran appreciate the Israelis because they initially they didn't ask Israel to help, but the Israelis and the Jewish nation were always going to get involved anyway, because not just because it's the interest of Israel, obviously, but also they every single time we hear from the Israelis that they don't forget Cyrus the Great. So this is payback time, basically.
You know, I got to tell you, when Reza Pahlavi put out this tweet or whatever, I don't remember what it was exactly. He's like, "Yeah, we helped the Jews 25 centuries ago get their temple." I was like, I don't know why. I was like, this is one of the greatest political moments in modern times.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we remember we helped the Jews 25 centuries ago. And I think there is an alliance of ancient peoples. You know, I think there is an alliance of ancient peoples, the Indians, the Persians, the Jews, and there's others, of course, that are ancient peoples on their land. And that's an amazing thing. And we appreciate, we want to help you guys get liberated. And if you don't mind helping us, 25 centuries later with that third temple thing, that would be great. We're really excited for that.
Absolutely, why not? Thank you very much.
Actually, I think that a liberated Iran really means a liberated Middle East. It means it means freedom for so many millions of people, for so many different folks, including the Kurds and many other people. It really could be a better world. We have to start believing that it could be a better world without an evil Syrian regime, without an evil a Houthi regime, without their and of course they're always suppressing their own people. These people, they're always suppressing them, are they not?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, but I still believe in a brighter future. So hopefully we'll get there together. Thank you.
Okay, Mayhar Tousi, you've had a long day. You've been protesting out in London. Keep that fire going, and with the help of God, there'll be some clarity soon, and the air will be cleared. Evil will be gone from this world, and all those martyrs that were killed will have not died in vain.
Omain, I want to pop in and say that we want to see
producer Yo wants to say something. Go ahead.
We want to see Malka, Nisha, and Danielle and Mayhar together, and when we can celebrate all four. That's my dream.
Thank you.
Mayhar Tousi, TousiTV, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Work. All right, thank you very much for being with us. Awesome. He is an amazing star and amazing spokesman. And thank you, Yo, for hooking up that interview. And wow. Actually, I also want to thank publicly a guy who is a silent partner in so many good pro-Israel things. His name is Uri Gobi, and he's an amazing connector of people, and he helped me get that contact. So thank you very much to Uri.